All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watch list coming into September 17, 2019. And this is the pregame. The plays are coming. It's on this watch list. This is the tentative. And I'm saying it's the pregame before the pregame because on Wednesday, the day before we get the Fed, I'm going to give the official list of plays because I have been thinking there's going to be an opportunity right before. There's all this stuff going on. We have to watch what happens with the premiums. And then after the report, it's going to change the premiums and it's going to give us some opportunities. So I'm going to go over those, go over the keys for tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff we saw today. Hopefully you watched that video I posted earlier today on oil. I would get familiar with that situation. That is not going away. We have plays that we structured around there. I'm going to go over the plays I made today and then what I'm looking for tomorrow. So make sure your guys' head is in the game. Be smart. Do not force it. And I said this yesterday at the end. I'm going to say this now at the beginning. Get hyped. It's okay to get hyped, but if you can't get hyped without getting FOMO and getting the YOLO demon and gambling, then don't get hyped. Turn off the computer. Walk away. I don't want you guys to lose money here. There's still uncertainty. We did good last time. We got to be careful how we bring that into the Fed meeting. And if you don't know, that is what is coming here down the road right now. We have on Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday is going to be the decision date. Wait, scratch that. I had to double check. It's actually going to be the 18th. So Wednesday is going to be the decision date. So then that means tomorrow's watch list, we're going to have the finalized plays. But that really doesn't change anything with the strategy in mind. So let's get into it. I'm going to go over the keys there. But before we do that, you guys know what you need to do. Make sure you drop your thumbs up on the video. That is imperative. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it when we go live. We are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. We are still resolving that last issue. So we're going live on this account. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watch list below. Let us know what you're looking at. Post your plays. Let's source that information and please keep it on topic. I don't want to clap y'all. I may not get things that you say, so the best thing to do is just keep it on topic and stock related. Otherwise, it is just junk when I'm going through it and I wake up early in the morning. I just want to read watch lists. That's it. So let's get into it. Right off the bat, here's your keys for tomorrow. I think it's going to be a lot like today, give or take some oil news, and I should have also put that in there, European news. What we get from the European Union and even some of that follow-up from the ECB last week is going to be important. And if you really draw things out here, we've been staircasing up in a very nice fashion. It has not been as choppy at all. But what I am watching for, if there is anything negative, I want to make sure it doesn't take us below 296. I doubt we would ever come below here before the Fed, before we hear from Jerome Powell. I think at the worst, we might come down to 297, but I'd expect something in this range. Maybe a breach towards the top if people are saying high oil is good. And again, you know, what's happening with oil, it's going to affect these rotations that we've been seeing. So keep that in mind as people rotate into energy and what are they going to come out of. So that's what I'm looking for, but I'm not really expecting anything big until the Fed. There's that. But now let me give you the philosophical lesson for tomorrow and the Fed. And this is what I learned today watching oil. And it goes back down to the last thing. I'm going to want to get my hand in the cookie jar. We got to sprinkle a little things, a little bit of plays. But here's how it goes, my friends. He who watches the wind will never sow. He who observes the clouds will fail to reap. If you're watching the wind, think about it. The wind is an invisible force. If you keep going with whatever the trend or the tide is, and that's where we're making the plays off and going, oh, it's up, I'll go when it's up, or I'll wait till it comes down, or I'm going to wait till it's perfect to do this, or we're observing every single cloud. You're not going to plant the seeds and you're not going to find the right time to take it if you're observing everything that goes by. This is why I figured today we got to sprinkle some seeds on, and I have to have some plays ready and make them solid now, regardless of what happens here in the next few days. None of it matters because, again, there will be gusts and it might go against us. It might go with us. Some might come early or later. But if we're trying to time it and trying to make sure we're planting with the wind, it's not always going to be the case where it's like that. Sometimes you got to plant with the wind going against you. Sometimes it's best to take your profits even when it looks like, oh, there's going to be this or that. Don't be too observant again. And that's what happened with oil today. We were watching those plays. I knew what was going to happen. I was literally saying it, but I was just waiting for the perfect thing when in my head, I was like, I should have just sprinkled some. I should have got my hand in the cookie jar. And again, you'll run that risk and you won't do good if you sprinkle too much. That's it, man. If you put your hand in the cookie jar, you've got a fat old hand. You try to get too many cookies, you are going to get clapped. But, a little bit, sprinkle it. You're very, how you say, Yeah, you'll get it. But in all seriousness, so keep that in mind. That is my logic. So now here it is. We're going to go over the plays, but this is my tentative playlist so far. We will finalize this tomorrow. I will show you some of the strike prices here today as we go through this watch list. But I'm looking at TLT November, and the TLT Novembers are better than October. October is for the sickos, but not if you're going to play early. Octobers are for after the Fed. So Novembers, if you're trying to say, hey, again, we've broken this down into two pieces, playing it before the Fed meeting or playing it after the Fed meeting. If you want to play it before, get November, get the time. If you want to play it after, wait and get the Octobers and let them do their little move around thing and let them get the theta and crush and all that. And again, if you see here, I got some Novembers today on TLT, and at the end of the day, I am saying TLT is going to be the move. Again, I was not really wanting that, but at the end of the day, we have other plays and we're seeing other stuff, and I still could be wrong, but it seems like bonds, if anything, are going to make the first move. So SLV and BAC, Bank of America, those are going to be the next up plays, but those are most likely going to lag. And if I'm thinking they're going to lag, what would they lag? Not the S&P. They're going to lag bonds, if anything. And again, the logic we have is the same logic as last time, and that's what I'm saying. I think if I'm watching the clouds and the wind too much, it's going to make me try to find something that isn't TLT, but I mean, it just makes too much sense still. I think going with the obvious play is somewhat contrarian at this point because, the bonds bounce back up. People oftentimes don't look at them, and I think it's going to be the same thing. If there is anything, if Powell doesn't cut, people are going to anticipate future cuts if the market comes down, and if he does cut, people could still panic and expect more, and people are going to, I think really regardless with all the new information that come out, and even if it isn't as much as the cut that is said, it's the information Powell gives with all this new China trade, everything else, and even oil, that is going to, I think, push the tide in one way or the other. So watch those. Watch the SLVs and BAC. We'll go over those plays. Like we said, I'm going to sprinkle some on oil, as this event that we saw is only the beginning, but it's going to mean a lot more volatility. And even then, with all of these plays, sprinkle. Go a little bit at a time, little by little, and take advantage of that versus trying to hit the big one and hit the home run. That's how we got in the TLTs last time. We went small, and the smalls did a lot of work. But those are your keys for tomorrow. Let us get into the plays. Right off the bat, let me show you the TLTs I got, and these are the ones I scaled into. I grabbed 5 TLT November 15th 158s for 148 cents. Or excuse me, 14 cents each. What am I saying? But this is what I want to show you guys. I like these, but they're still pretty far out the money. These are about, I think, 7 or 8% probability of profit of these getting in the money. So it's still pretty further out, and it's a lot more money, but the thing I like is the time. But this is what I want you to notice. Those 158s are 14 cents. Come to October, a whole month less, these 158s are pretty much half the price, and if you even spent 14 cents, you would only get a 140, a 152. That is a pretty big difference. I think another 10% difference, but I think the probability, literally, because of the less time frame, the probability of profit is literally the same. So this is what I'm saying, whereas I think time, if anything, will benefit us more. But again, these are the first scaling I'm going to do. I spent $70 on those. So last time we spent 150 on those 4-cent ones, so we could scale in again, and that's what I'm going to be looking to do. I will probably get some Octobers, but I want to take advantage of them. But then here's the next thing I saw with these. There were some of these TLTs, like the 155s here, even the 158s here. You could see these were up like 500%, 50%, whereas when we go to the Novembers, the price we got these at, we paid at 14 cents, only a 30% premium, whereas some of the Octobers, especially the ones further out the money, increased a lot more in value. So that's what I want to watch out for, is just make sure you're not paying too much IV, and that is what's cautioning me to make sure I don't want to go too hard coming into the event, because once the event happens, that's going to kill the IV, and prices will come down. So that's where, again, scale it, sprinkle, hand in the cookie jar, whatever you want to call it. There's that play. Now, as far as the other plays, I made 2 other plays today. Pulling up the Robinhood, I did 2. This one was a debit spread because I was like, I just want to sprinkle something. I should have done this in the morning. I was like, I want to get oil. I just want to get a little piece of it. It's going to be volatile here and there, but I didn't want to spend too much money. I was like, oh, the contracts are too expensive. I was like, all right, wait. Let's use Robinhood. 0 commissions on it. Let's just get a quick debit spread. I did a $15 debit spread. So we bought the $14.50, sold the 15, and the net price that we paid was $4 for it. The max gain is $50, so it'd still be $1,000, but it's still nothing, too crazy. I mean, it's nice on a small account, but again, I just wanted my hand in the cookie jar. This is for next week, so that's that play. And then depending on what oil does tomorrow or tomorrow morning, I'm going to look to make another oil play, and that's one of the big things I want to go after. And then after that, the other play is what I've been talking about with Bank of America. I got it October 11th, and again, I was saying there's going to be a lagging effect, so I wanted to make sure we were able to get enough time beyond the Fed. But the October 18th, again, you have to watch the credit, but I sold this for a $38 credit, so pretty much it's you sold the 28.50, bought the 29. The max you can make here is the credit, but the max risk is $50 of a loss, so it's pretty much $12 is the max risk to make 50. And again, these plays don't tie up too much collateral, believe it or not, because if you're collecting most of the collateral, all you're paying is that $12 of risk. So you could buy a couple. I'm even considering, depending on how things play out here into the Fed or even after the Fed, I might buy a bunch of these because it's still like a 400% risk reward. It may seem capped and not that great, but if it's pretty much a no-brainer and it's still, again, small risk reward, and we could still even profit off it without a crazy move, I'm gonna be interested in these. So those were the only plays we made today. Now moving on into what to watch tomorrow. Watch McDonald's and how they pair up against all the growth. This is going to be important. They sold off. So did other companies that you should watch as well too, like Shopify. They got murdered, and you could even see kind of where they're at. And I'm going to even look to sell premium or even maybe a put spread on Shopify tomorrow. That definitely caught my eye. I actually still have that Roku put spread. I'm up like 50-60% on that. I may want to just cover that one, take the 50-60%, and then open up a Shopify on here again, just to get the buying power back, and I could sell fresh premium and fresh puts that have been down a lot there, and Shopify could be a crazy mover. So watch that, but watch McDonald's. If this keeps dropping or has a big drop tomorrow, this could be one of those plays you scoop up there in the morning. I'm going to be watching that. I think that's going to be very important. And now the rest of the plays, again, we have BAC, TLT. Oh, SLV. Don't let me forget about that. This is the SLV I'm looking at too. So I'm considering October 18th. It sucks we can't get the Novembers. So again, this is why I might want to wait till after the Fed to play this, and good thing these lag. But damn, these went up on me. These are the ones I wanted the other day. They were about like 6 cents. It was the 19s. So either the 19s or even the 21s, or if we do have to space it out, maybe even the 20s for December. But realistically, I'm going to be liking the October 18th. Again, 1920, I think those are a little far out there. I haven't gotten these yet, so I'm gonna pretty much have to wait to these. These are gonna be probably my least favorable plays out of the rest of them. So I like TLT and Bank of America more than I do like SLV, but I'm gonna wait for those and see how we can take advantage of those. But watch those, and then the rest of the plays for tomorrow as well. Watch USO. I like USO out of all of them. It's been hard to play UCO and all that. I like BP on the upside in certain refineries. There's refineries and oil transportation producers. Some are going to do better than others, because like even Valero dropped, but then it ended up closing up on the day. But watch both of these. If you guys see any oil companies, watch them out. Someone posted like OIH or something like that. They did actually, those premiums weren't too crazy, and I liked it, but it was still, again, it's very hard to make any plays on oil today. The premiums went up too much, and that's where we missed a lot of plays, because even though they were up in the morning, some of them still went up another 1,000% by the end of the day. So again, there's a high premium, and this is what I've been saying all day today, is that the high premium is showing and dictating that people are expecting a big move. So that's the uncertainty, and that's what's giving both sides of this equation here. So watch all those. Watch Shopify. Again, we said watch Roku. I'm still in those puts that I sold, so hopefully that comes up there. I'll be able to cover that, take 60-70%, and we'll see. Watch what it does with the S&P. If Shopify's dropping, Roku's holding up, and it does go up, this may be the upside for it, so we'll see what happens there. Next is MGM. They had a buyout rumor by BlackRock today, or someone said supposedly they are going to be putting in a bid. We don't know the info on that. It popped up, came down, and slowly went up, and the volume was quite interesting there. We looked at it. We saw the news right when it happened, but we didn't make a play. I know some people did, so keep your eye out for that, and even watch LVS, Las Vegas Sands, and Wynn. Any other sympathy stocks in play. Then watch Home Depot. I'm in this one as well too. We sold that credit spread, but this is reminding me now of what somebody even asked. They said, I got a lot of puts. If I have a lot of puts, how can I get exposure to the upside? Anything that we would even grab puts on, a lot of these companies we've mentioned, even like NVIDIA and Intel, Apple is a great one. And then these value stocks, Home Depot, McDonald's, Walmart, all of those pretty much you could get the call side on those. So again, watch the cost basis if you have puts on those, or pick which ones to get puts on and then which ones to get calls on. But some of these stocks, if they don't go down, some have really higher chances of going up. And that's what I'm seeing with Home Depot. If Home Depot really doesn't give up here with this crazy momentum it's been having, this could be a good one on the upside. But I am forecasting, or I'm hoping that it comes down here on the downside. Then watch Disney. They dropped today, and they had a pretty big down day. I don't think the contracts were too crazy, but I do want to still watch how they trade. And again, this was the first trading session after Bob Iger resigned from Apple, so we'll see how those talks and everything come into play with each other. But I still like Disney in general, and even watch Microsoft. They're two different companies, but they kind of remind me of each other in their movements. Then Amazon had news today that they're changing around how they search products, or how they display search products, and I think this could have an effect. But it's dropping here. It's at the 1800 mark. Usually when it gets below that 1800 mark, you see some weakness there. So it's kind of an equilibrium, but it's also kind of a interesting level here. If this starts to lead out, or we see a rotation in energy and out of tech, Amazon might be one to go. So I'm going to keep my eyes out on that. Then to the final chart we got here, NVIDIA and Intel, those are going to be my favorite ones there. Intel is literally still beasting, but if Intel starts to break down from here, that could begin the downtrend, or if it does go up here, then it will really beast. Watch NVIDIA pretty much as a secondary to Intel and Apple, and then if chip makers or anything, this could be a good bounce play on the upside. It might be a little bit hard there. I haven't looked at on the downside. I haven't looked at the puts yet. Then Boeing is one. I really like this. I might want to even sell in the money credit spread. So hopefully, I think pretty much is going to make a big move up or down from here. It usually levels out from here. So again, if it can't break above this 380, I'll probably start selling some of those in the money calls, and we'll see even coming into the Fed. Then finally, Baba and Baidu. We're still holding the Baidus. They kind of went up a little bit. That one's just going to be a slow, painful one. But watch Baba and how they reacted. They came down today, but all throughout the day, they dropped pretty hard, leveled out, and they had a big run up there at the end. So watch how that even moves with some of the other techs in Amazon, even the S&P in general. And then watch for any other trade news as well. Wait for the oil stuff to develop, and let's see what happens with everything coming into the Fed. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what your watch list is. Post your plays, like the video, make sure you subscribe, stay hydrated, healthy, get in the game, get your head in the game. I need some snipers here. Post your info, source it. Let's go. Let's find out what we really need to do here to maximize this. Don't get too caught up in the moment or watching or waiting for the best opportunity. Set a plan, control those balances, be smart, get time. You will be good to go. This is history in the making, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go.